just be happy with what is on the horizon. Be happy with the fact that we are about to have a football team like we have never had in this city before. Be happy that we are going to have a football team that for the next 5, 10, maybe 15, hell, maybe even 20 years is going to be talked about as a consistent contender because we have the right people in the front office, we have the right people running the show, and they're going to do things the right way this time. And we've never had that here in Chicago.
Abused stepchildren. We don't believe the next guy isn't going to kick the shit out of us like the last guy did.
That's fair. That's fair.
Everybody's writing Fitz gibberishes today, and they're all better than mine.
And welcome to Windy City Sports Talk. It's your boy Brandon Combs, along with my guy Ryan Fitzgibbons. We're together again at the Combs compound.
Yes, I am back, baby.
I can't believe I let you in the door.
After your simulcast, which was pretty good, I have to say.
I can't
believe I'm saying that. It was good.
It was a lot of fun. A lot of people thought it was good, actually, because about 10 minutes after, we got a sponsor.
Yeah. We're somebody now.
Dubby Energy Drink decided that they would sponsor us. Still waiting on some of the stuff to come in so that we can show you guys what we have and hopefully get you guys to try some Dubby Energy Drink. So if you are looking for a new energy drink, definitely check out Dubby. They no caffeine and no sugar. So it's an all-natural energy drink is what they call it. Sure. I can't wait to try it, though.
Maybe some steroids? You don't know.
No,
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We already lost our first sponsor. All right.
Way to go.
And it ended the show.
Way to start it off.
No, but I think that's pretty exciting. I leave for a week and sponsors are like, yeah, good show.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. So,
Good, clean, fun.
It's been great working with you. And I appreciate everything you've contributed.
I think you should. I told you a couple of times on the show, I don't think this is going to work out for me. This whole podcast, broadcasting, whatever the hell I'm doing, whatever the hell you call this.
Yeah. No.
Work out.
It's been great. We've also got another sponsor coming on board, which we are going to introduce on next Sunday. But the Bears game just got flexed. We were going to do it at McNally's. I just found out before the show the Bears game's been flexed at 3:25. We normally only do noon games.
You really got your finger on the pulse of what's going on. It's been flexed for 84 hours.
Look, man, I work a lot. So I did not know that the game had been flexed. Last time I looked, it was still at noon. So we will figure out what we're going to do as far as that goes. But as of right now, we do have a second sponsor, so we are excited to start things with everybody. And if you go to Dubby's website, you can get the energy drinks. If you use promo code WCST for Windy City Sports Talk, WCST as the promo code, you will get 10% off of your purchase. So there you go. Look, we've got our first sponsor read.
That's insane. And you didn't even come up with anything to really read. We're going to have to get a little bit more creative, I think.
Yeah.
You just kind of said stuff.
Yeah. Look, man, I work.
It's a lot. You're the only one that works in the
entire
Chicago area.
What did you do yesterday?
You are the only one that
What did you do yesterday?
Few shows I had to catch up on. We had Cleveland Yankees game. We had what's his name's returned?
It was
Granhu's return to martial arts.
It was my first day off from the radio station all week, and I worked Chicago State University game yesterday.
Chicago's not a state.
With Alex Cohen, actually, who we had on the show. Who does
AAA for the Cubs?
So he was announcing for Chicago State yesterday. Got to talk to him a lot about the Cubs
in the background. It was pretty good stuff. I won't say everything that he said, but he did. I was surprised because I didn't even bring it up. I said the Cubs have to do something to get a big bat, and who's the big bat that you think that he mentioned that he says should be their number one priority?
Pete Alonso.
Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Well, there you go. That would have been my second guess. Little younger. I'd rather have him. Either one of those guys.
Who's been saying that name for a year and a half?
Even going on big on Juan Soto would have been good in the offseason, who basically won the series last night.
Yeah,
they're 3-run home run.
In New York. They're not.
Well, yeah, I know, but I mean the Cubs. I know they don't have Yankee or Dodger money, but it ain't far off, man.
They do have Yankee.
Those
and Dodger
are the
money.
guys they should be getting.
Yeah.
Those are the guys they should be getting.
No, I agree. But look, I don't think I think Pete Alonso is, or not Pete Alonso. Juan Soto is going to be in the same boat.
I mean, it looks like that.
I think he's going to be in the same boat Shohei was last offseason. He's going to use everybody else to drive up the price on the Yankees, the same way Shohei did that to the Dodgers. I don't think he's leaving New York. I don't think he intends to leave New York. I think he intends to make as much money as he can from the New York Yankees. So I don't believe he's leaving New York. So I don't think any team has a legitimate shot at him, just like no team had a legitimate shot at Shohei Ohtani last year.
Well, he was on the plane to Toronto.
He was on the plane. No, he wasn't.
I would like to be on that plane ride.
What he did was he booked a trip because he can afford the $300 ticket to not get on the plane, and he booked the trip so that way, you know, people were like, "Oh, hey, look, he's going to Toronto." No, he was never going to Toronto. He was staying in LA.
He's going to Toronto.
Yeah.
The Sox are selling the team. Jerry Reinsdorf is selling the team. Caleb Williams is a bust.
Yeah. No, let's definitely talk about that too. We're gonna get to that too. But I did talk when I talked to Alex yesterday. I did talk to him about, you know, the Cubs and where they need to go. And bullpen help is the biggest need for the Cubs, right? But the Cubs are going to have to trade prospects to get that bullpen help. I mean, you can go get a couple of free agents, but you need a closer. Yeah. Whether that closer is a guy like, you know, I know Clase has not looked very good in the postseason, but Clase had a ERA under 1 in the regular season. I mean, so it. Give or take, you could also go, you know, you could talk about trying to go get Mason Miller. You're going to have to give up a lot more prospects for a guy like Mason Miller, who is probably going to need Tommy John in the next year or two. But hey, you got a guy who's throwing 105. He's going to come back throwing 99 to 101, somewhere around there, and be that guy. So do you make that trade? And my retort to him was that Jed Hoyer has the smallest GM balls in baseball, and you know that I've said that quite a bit.
Yeah,
and he disagreed with me. He vehemently disagreed with me. He thinks that he says Jed Hoyer
signing his paychecks.
He said Jed Hoyer was not Jed Hoyer. Ricketts is, but it's just, you know, man. He said that, you know, the money that he spent, and he actually said that they went out and got the best shortstop in that free agent market, is what Alex Cohen believed. He said that the best free agent in that pool, in that shortstop pool, was Dansby Swanson. He's like, when you look at the production, he said Dansby Swanson this year had more doubles than Trey Turner. Dansby Swanson is a better defensive.
Good as Trey Turner.
Trey Turner had 21 errors at shortstop this year. He was like the 20th ranked shortstop defensively.
Yeah, so, I totally get that, but Dansby Swanson does not equal Trey Turner. That's insane.
Yeah. My retort was the same retort that I had.
Totally insane.
I agree. I think that he changes the line, because I think what happens is our mind always goes straight to offense, right? Because we watched the Cubs offense struggle for a better half of 7.5 weeks this season. And that's really what it was for the Cubs. It was 7.5 really bad weeks that cost them the division, that cost them a playoff spot this year. And that offense was abysmal. I think Trey Turner is a difference maker in a lineup. Yeah. I think Trey Turner is a table setter in a lineup. Now look, the Phillies had all of that and more and still lost in the wild card round in the playoffs. So not in the wild card, divisional round.
They went to the World Series, though. They went to the. I mean, you're the same guy who says playoffs is a crapshoot. When a team gets out, you have to take that same thing. They did go to the World Series last year. They were good this year. There were a lot of people's pick. Your pick to go to the World Series this year and win it, right? Or did you have them winning it this year? I think you did. I mean, I had the Braves win, but that didn't work
well,
out.
You didn't know that they were dealing with all those injuries.
I do want to stay on baseball a little bit because we didn't get to talk about it. All this Bears craze. We got a quarterback, but
we're
anyway,
going to talk about that too.
Is those 3-game series?
Yeah,
I think are sacrilegious to anybody.
I agree.
Even a casual baseball fan can see those series. The best team doesn't always win those series. It's ridiculous. They have them on at 1:00 in the afternoon.
Yeah.
In the middle of September when it's beautiful. I mean, people are working.
Yep.
It's after, or not September. Well, yeah, end of September, early October, and no one's taking those days off anyway to watch baseball. It was pretty cool back in the day when all the sports stayed in their lane, but no sports stay in their lanes anymore. And there's other things that people can watch. They don't. It's ridiculous that they still have games on at that time. I understand that the weather's getting cooler. I mean, maybe shave off 10 games, but whatever. But it's bad marketing on a level that is just unconscionable, and it makes this game worse. It really does. It makes less kids go to this game. So your talent dips down. What last I checked, black players in baseball, there's like 6% of entire baseball. When it used to be, when we were kids, it was like 20 something percent, 30 something percent. All the best players were black. I mean, a lot of them were. The Ken Griffey Juniors, the Barry Bonds. I mean, the list goes on. And those players aren't playing. They're either playing football or basketball now. And I thought for a second when the whole football CTE started, like, a lot of these players are going to start sliding over to baseball, but they're not. And big reason of that is baseball is harder. It just is.
It is.
And there's just a longer runway to get good at baseball. You got Kyler Murray that could have easily played for the A's. Who wants to play for the A's? Back then, the A's a little better organization, but and goes to football as a quarterback where was hurt for a year and a half. You know what I mean? I mean, which it's, that's a hard position to play. I mean, there is as you go through your career in baseball, I mean, it's the best union out there. It's way better than the football union. I'm just saying, I'm trying to sell this to athletes out there, but it's hard to sell this sport when they were late to the game, putting highlights on social media, when they're still blacking out games, when they're still playing this where they don't have to sell their playoffs when they obviously do. Ratings are down. Ratings are a little up this year, but you do have New York. You do have the Yankees in there. You do have the Dodgers are always in there, it seems, lately. But you do have a lot of teams. You have the Mets in there as well. So, and looks like it might be Yankees, Mets. Mets are going to have to do some chunking here. But I mean, it's just it's really makes me angry that they don't know how to market their product.
Well, I think the reason why they go to the 3-game series is because they give the first round bye to the 1 seed, right? And the only way to go away from that, from giving the 1 seed a bye, is to I saw the comment by my
TV crybaby Combs will be crying when he's shoveling snow in his Speedo.
At any rate,
sorry to cut you off,
but it's not just if you're going to do that, you're going to have to add more teams. You're going to have to add 2 more teams if you don't want a first round bye, and then you can make it a 5-7-7-7 or even 7-7-7,
which I would like.
But if you do that, you cut the season down to 142 games, right? Cut the season down by 20 games, and I don't think anybody would shed a tear other than owners about cutting it down. But the only owners that are going to cry are the owners not playing in October.
Yeah, but doesn't that solve the problem without giving the White Sox, who were the worst team ever, the 10th pick in the draft because they had 2 really bad losing teams 2 years in a row?
Yeah.
Doesn't it solve that problem without having to do that to a bad team and just say, hey, if you're bad, you're going to get 10 less home games. And hey, if you want to make more money, go into the playoffs.
Yeah. And here's the thing, too, is that baseball front offices are so bad at their job. I legitimately don't understand how some of these people got into the positions that they got into, right? Like, let's take the wild card round ends on a Wednesday. the DS doesn't start until Saturday when they play 4 games at noon, 3, 5, and 7, going up against college football when they could have played on Friday with no competition on TV whatsoever, except for maybe BYU and Utah State at freaking 10 o'clock on ESPN with college football. I don't understand for the life of me why you're looking at this schedule and you're like, oh, they need 2 days off. They need 2 more days off. The teams that already had buys need 2 extra days off to go and play. When I know it changed a little bit this year because those teams that did have the bye did advance this year. But before this, the teams that had the bye in the previous years had been winless heading into this postseason. They had never won a series. The 6th seed had been to the World Series in each year since they started this format. So you're looking at baseball and you're like, what are you thinking? And how are the way? And I don't, for the life of me, and I know I've said this 1,000 times, I would make a great commissioner of baseball. I don't care what anybody says. I know I'll never get the job. I
would. We get one advertiser and you're the commissioner of baseball.
No, I've said this for a long time. As a matter of fact, I'll show you messages where other people say you should be the commissioner of baseball. But at any rate, like you said, by not blacking out games, by promoting your players, by putting more commercial effort. We're watching, we've got the game on in the background. And Patrick Mahomes is in how many commercials? Travis Kelce is in how many commercials? Gronk is in how many commercials? How many commercials do we see Shohei Ohtani in? How many commercials do we see? I'm trying to think of other great players.
Trout when he was good.
Juan Soto.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Judge. How many commercials do you see Aaron Judge in?
Yeah, not many.
You don't see it on TV because they don't promote the game. They think that baseball is just going to thrive off of itself. And to me,
when I was a kid, freaking Nolan Ryan was hawking Ben Gay.
To me, this is
he was all over it.
This is the greatest sport in the world. I love the game of baseball. It is my favorite. It is my passion. I will watch till I die or until they just don't play anymore because baseball kills itself. I don't understand for the life of me why they continue to do the things that they do and how owners can continue to sit there and say, oh, this is good for us. And I know they're making money hand over fist. I know that this is all a money grab and it's all about how much can they make and blah, 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 blah. But you would make more money by promoting it more. You would make more money. If you said, hey, if I told you, hey, look, it's going to be $130 for your streaming service, but we're going to black out your local games. But if you pay $145, you get all the games. Are you paying the extra $15?
Yeah. I mean, and when did they turn on the lights at Wrigley? 1985?
1989.
1989. Yeah. You're that behind where people want to watch stuff at night. Yeah. That's what they want to do now.
And they still play a vast majority of day games on Fridays.
Jeremiah says Saturdays. That you're Combs sending himself messages from burner accounts telling himself he should be commissioner.
I mean,
that's just like baseball.
I don't have that much
snake
time,
eating
Jeremiah.
itself.
I don't have that much
but
time.
Mega TV brings up a good point here. Nothing on the same streaming service. She's talking about baseball. Yeah. So it's hard to flip back and forth between games. Well, that's another problem that's happening with baseball. Now you have these RSNs, regional sports networks, who do not have the fans or that they usually have. They don't have the eyes on the games as they usually have. So cable companies like Comcast are going to these teams and saying, no, you're not going to be a part of our package anymore. You're going to be and they almost did this to the Cubs, if you remember, when they started the Marquee Network. Yeah. People are going to have to pay extra to watch your team, and they don't want to do it. When it's bundled together, the team just gets a stipend. Just like news today, the dying corporate news right now, CNN can have 80,000 people watching them. Can have 80,000 people watching God, I don't even know who's on CNN anymore.
Neither do I.
But they can have 80,000 people watch, but they still get that stipend from the advertising money, basically from Pfizer, to get that money in. It doesn't matter how many people watch. It didn't matter how many people watch White Sox games. But now that Comcast isn't doing the games anymore, they're not getting that pool of money. And when the White Sox tried to make, and the White Sox, the Blackhawks, and the Bulls,
the Nashville White Sox.
Should we do Spitz gibberish now or
no? Go ahead, finish.
But anyway, yeah. I mean, when the Whites and now the White Sox try to make their own station with the Bulls and the Black, whatever, and they don't have the viewership for Comcast to say, okay, you're going to be a part of our package and we're going to give you a stipend of that cable money. So money's not going to be rushing in the way it is anymore. And this is happening all over baseball.
Well, let me ease though. And
that's why there's a lot of different streams.
Yeah. And this is, I'm glad you touched on it because this is something I wanted to touch on with people out there too. Cause I know a lot of people do use Xfinity or Comcast. And right now you're not getting the Chicago Sports Network. And a lot of people, I see them posting all the time. Thanks Blackhawks. You're doing it to us again. We can't watch Blackhawks home games. It's not on the Blackhawks. It's not on the White Sox. It's not on the Bulls. It's not on Reinsdorf as much as I would love to put it on him.
Let's put a little
bit on this is on NBC and this is on the this is on Comcast itself because I have Astound and I get the Chicago Sports Network. If you have DirecTV, you get the Chicago Sports Network. If you have YouTube TV, you get the Chicago Sports Network. You can get the Chicago Sports Network. You can't get it on Comcast.
Yeah.
What happened with the deal with Chicago Sports Network? This wasn't supposed to start until next summer. Chicago Sports Network wasn't supposed to be a thing until the summer of 2025. NBC decided they were pulling out of the regional sports network game. So they closed down and they were just like, look, we're leaving in October. October 1st, we're done with regional sports network. So you don't have to come till July of 2025, but there's going to be nothing on our networks. And so Chicago Sports Network had to scramble. All of a sudden, they had to go through a mass hire. They had to do all this stuff. People lost their jobs. They didn't know what to do. So they brought all of that into something really quick. And so now they're trying to get a deal done. And they've actually they've gone personal with Comcast because they posted a thing. We've sent them multiple offers to Comcast. They haven't even responded with a counter offer. Is Chicago Sports Network. Yeah. So this is on Xfinity and Comcast. And as much as I would love to put this on the teams and ownership and just being greedy, they're willing to do a package with Comcast, which is less than what Comcast was paying for NBC. So this is on them. This isn't on the Chicago Sports Network. And Chicago Sports Network had to come together quick because NBC pulled the plug a year earlier than everybody thought they were going to.
They did. We talked about it when they did pull the plug.
Yeah.
And putting together a station that quickly has got to be tough.
Yeah.
Not that I feel sorry for Reinsdorf, but
Reinsdorf doesn't have anything to do. I know that the teams are making the money off of it.
Yeah.
But they're not. They don't care about the network.
Yeah,
he's the least of their worries.
And they're not collecting that money. I'm not going to say for free, but they're not collecting that money like they would have before, because people have to pay for it on the side now instead of paying it with their Jeremiah HBO. You're home for incest, dragons, and baseball. I think that's because Megan TV said that baseball was on HBO.
So HBO Max is carrying, and you're going to start seeing a lot more of that. I know that Netflix is getting ready to start carrying the WWE. They're getting ready to start carrying more live events. You're going to see a lot more streaming stuff. Netflix is massive, dude. Like I read some stories this past week of everything that Netflix is starting to dip their hands into. Netflix is like the new it's going to be a conglomerate. Like, I mean, it is going to just monopolize the streaming industry.
Am I going to be bootlegging games 3 days after they happen? Is that what's going to happen here? Because as soon as these corporations saw they'll pay separately for it instead of in a bundle. Oh, we got them now. And I did a Fitz gibberish on it. And you said people are going to pay anyway. I don't know if the money is out there anymore for people to pay 10 or 20 streaming to watch, 3 teams.
That's all. That's a whole CNN podcast that we would have to do.
I know exactly. Where's Anderson Cooper? I think he's still on CNN.
Yeah, tell you why.
Get Anderson Cooper in here.
Why we can't afford it. Look, it's one of those things where it's going to continue to trend that way, though. Yeah. Streaming is going to continue to be the big thing, and that's why you're going to start losing cable companies. Astound, like I'll tell you right now, I had Xfinity. I switched to Astound for 2 reasons. One, the customer service with Xfinity and Comcast was atrocious. And for 2, Astound was just much cheaper. And I gotta tell you, since I got the new internet and cable through Astound, the speed is better than what I was getting through Xfinity with the internet. And I've had zero outages at all. Is
this a new sponsor?
No, but I'm letting people know
sponsoring us
that if you want Chicago Sports Network, leave Comcast. That's going to be the way to do it.
Buy Doobie energy drinks.
All right, I want to talk White Sox, so let's do Fitzgibberish.
All right, it's Fitzgibberish. It's been a long time. It's a diatribe. It's conspiracy theory, and oh yes, it's an island. It's been a little unapologetic and inaccurate sports talk. I couldn't think of one person on CNN, so I'm counting that against myself.
Nobody knows anybody on CNN.
I know nobody watches. Want to know anybody? They still get a stipend, and my Blackhawks can't even get some money. Come on. Yes, Jerry Reinsdorf. I'm back here. I'm back here again. Why? Why, God? Am I obsessed with this man? He's 88 years old. Just let him go already. Jerry Reinsdorf, the owner of the Chicago White Sox, does business like old people bang. Yes, I said it. He does business like old people bang. It's been a long time since he's put any effort into it. Nothing fits correctly, and there's a lot of unwanted friction. Oh, yes, and somebody ends up with syphilis. That reminds me. I'm glad, Combs, that everything worked out.
It still burns when I pee.
Yes. Yes. When news was intentionally leaked, yes, I said intentionally leaked this week that Jerry was looking into selling the White Sox. I'm repeating myself a lot today. But anyway, it smacked.
It's all that new medication.
Yes, it is. It smacked. I get into prescription drugs in this Fitzgibberish. Were you reading it?
Oh,
anyway, it smacked of outdated. Is intentionally leaking the news that he was selling the team. Smacked of outdated, pantomimed business dealings in a desperate attempt for relevance and leverage. I lost my spot. Yes. Jerry's business savvy has become so predictable and musty, it's beginning to resemble old women trying to figure out social media.
Instead of mailing everyone my vacation photos, I'm saving a ton of time by posting them to my wall.
Ooh, I like that one.
It's so quick. It's just like my car insurance. I save 15% in just 15 minutes.
I saved more than that in half the time.
I'd unfriend you.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
Yes. You see, initially the reports that Jerry was selling the team were met with some optimism from Sox fans. I being one when I read the headline. Recovering Sox fans as well, and people standing next to Sox fans, nursing them through this difficult time. But as the lady said, that's not how any of this works. But since the owner of the Sox strategy is as large as Lake Michigan and as deep as a puddle, the real motivation was right under the surface. Because Jer Bear is not really going to sell the Sox. Yes, you heard it here first, or probably 9th or 10th if you care about Chicago sports. Jerry Reinsdorf is not selling the Sox. The buying group that is interested is headed by Dave Stewart, former A's great starting pitcher. The same Dave Stewart who ruined the Diamondbacks as their GM and has ties to, you guessed it, and it probably gave you diarrhea.
The Oakland A's?
The head vampire himself. He has ties to the head vampire himself. Yes, Nosferatu, Tony La Russa. Yes, lately, or at least the past, I don't know, 5 years, feels like forever. No White Sox move can be complete without the stink from the pile of rotting flesh that is La Russa. People, the White Sox just put a baseball diamond at the plot of land called the 78th in the South Loop, where they want their new stadium to be built. They are not going anywhere. This is all kabuki theater. If you don't know what that means, you got Google. You're watching us anyway. Just look it up. It just covers up what's really happening. Jerry used these same old tricks back in the 80s and early 90s to get a sweetheart stadium deal from the state of Illinois. A now famous backroom government deal that could only happen in a state as crooked as Illinois gave him just what he wanted. And he's out there selling the same old snake oil, the blood drinking lizard that he is. You see, because Dave Stewart has been wanting to use his buying group to put a team in Nashville, like the son of a bitch over here had to say earlier in the show. So Jerry is using this as leverage to get the state to buy another stadium so the Sox don't move. In the late 80s, he was moving to Tampa Bay. Yuck! Didn't their stadium just get ripped? Didn't the roof just get ripped off? Nothing against the people who were hurt in the hurricane, but what is the difference now? Okay, do we just lose another sponsor?
So far, you've killed our sponsor, and now you're victim shaming all of the people in the hurricane.
It's been a while since the Fitz gibberish, okay? What is the difference now, you ask? It's that Jerry does not care that you know what he's doing. He can do it right in front of your eyes without giving a shit what you think, because he thinks he is the strong and you are the weak, because he thinks we are just going to sit there and take it, paralyzed by countless screens. I'm looking at 3 right now, and I got my phone, and bad prescription drugs, or good prescription drugs. I've had a few good ones in my day, not for what they were supposed to be used for, but anyway, well, Jer Bear, we peasants climb out of the haze of that snake oil sometimes and still have sabers to rattle. I read an article titled White Sox Fans, Bridgeport Business Owners Not Buying That Reinsdorf is Selling. Just Another Ploy. This was by Mike Liederman, I hope I got his name right, of the Block Club of Chicago, an independent journalist-run newsroom. Seems new. Check it out. They need all the money they can get, it looks like. In it, though, he quotes Bill Guy, the owner of Cork and Carries. That's right by Sox Park.
Isn't it the science guy?
Bill Guy, the science?
Oh, no, it's Bill Nye.
Bill Nye, the science guy who wants you to take your vaccines. But anyway. Yeah, Bill Guide, owner of Cork and Carries, says, I hope it's not just some ruse to lobby for more public money. But at this point, I think it is. Mario Scalise, owner of Sticks and Bricks, used to report on the Sox. Sticks and Bricks is at 218 West 33rd Street, concluded, this is just another ploy to get the new stadium. So if not, he can say he'll sell to a new owner that'll move them out of town. At the end result of them staying is eating up taxpayer dollars. I'd rather them just leave. Thanks, Mario. My sentiments exactly. And we have a message for robber barons like good old Jer Bear, who are trying to rip off one of the most crime-riddled and broken neighborhoods in the country. Same neighborhood I'm in right now. We are mad as hell, and we're not going to take it anymore.
Wait a minute.
We no longer have to yell out of windows anymore either. I can come to Cole's basement and pay $88.99 a month to StreamYard to do it.
There you go.
Yes, we here at Windy City Sports Talk, we keep the receipts. And we, as taxpayers, have 2 proxy wars, a crumbling infrastructure, and even worse healthcare system to pay for. So please stop. That's Fitzgibbers, my friends. Thanks for listening, Combs.
Yeah, look, he's not selling to this. He's going to sell. I believe he's going to sell, but he's going to sell after they get a new stadium done.
Okay.
And it won't be to this group. And there's more than just, him flexing. This is also Dave Stewart using this to his advantage too, because he's been lobbying to get a team in Tennessee for forever. He wants a team down in Nashville. His group wants a team down in Nashville. I don't know if you know what it is, like the financial portion of it when expansion teams come into Major League Baseball. Every team gets a share of the closing cost of it. So if an expansion team comes in for $2 billion, all of the teams get a piece of that.
I did not know that. No.
So if Jerry sells to this ownership group and they move a team
that's already
to Nashville
as an organization,
there's no cut.
Boy.
So
pissing off a lot of old billionaires.
Yeah. Major League Baseball is never going to let this happen. It's not going to happen. This is just, they're both using this to their advantage. They're both using this to get maybe what they want. It's just a flex move by both sides. And it might work to their advantage. Look, maybe the White Sox do get a new stadium. I don't think that they need a new stadium. I don't think they deserve a new stadium. I think a new ownership group maybe would deserve a new stadium, but Jerry Reinsdorf has done nothing to deserve a new stadium.
No, he's done nothing to help the area. Yeah. He's done nothing to, and there's this different there's just this different way that I guess you can call it the ruling class. I'm not going to yell at rich people. It looks like Jerry made a life for himself. I know his parents had some money, but he made a life for himself. He owned a team. They did win some championships. I'm not saying that, but there's this different tact with the ruling class where they act like we're going to do this. You're going to know we did this, and we don't give a shit anyway. Yeah, that's just not how it was when I was growing up. They at least lied to us back then, or at least tried. This is so pantomimed. This is so dirty. This is so out in the open now.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he's not on the internet, but he's got to know something about people know exactly what you're doing. They know exactly what you're doing. They know this is a ploy right away. I think Jeremiah put it on Facebook, and I said, I'll believe it when I see it, because I don't believe it.
Well, Lawrence Holmes said it this week. Lawrence Holmes said that he's talked to people that are close to Jerry, and they have urged him to sell the team. And his kids don't want any part of the team, so they have urged him to sell the team. I do believe he will sell the team eventually, but you've got to deal with a stadium and with the city that is coming to an end soon. You've got a limited amount of time to
the city is coming to an end.
It might.
Well, very optimistic today.
I by the end of November, I expect the city to be on fire. I'm not going to lie. But it's one of those where you're not going to be able to get a deal done. You're not going to be able to sell this franchise on a dead deal. You're not going to be able to sell this franchise if you don't have something in place, whether it's a deal with the new stadium or whether it's a deal for the current stadium. And if you don't have that, it's going to make it a lot harder. So you have to get something done quick.
And you're going to make a lot less money.
A lot less money.
You're going to make a lot less money with it.
And it doesn't matter the state of the team. Look, the team losing as many games as the new owner isn't worried about that, because the new owner is going to come in and be like, well, I'm going to spend my money my way. We're going to build this team the right way. They're going to do it however they got to do it with their GM and all that stuff. So take the state of the franchise out of it. Yeah. For an owner to come in, it's all about how much money can I make off of this deal. If I spend $2 billion, I need to make 6 or 7. And that's
but in the next 20, 30 years, whatever it be, or
right, exactly.
15 years.
And that's what it's going to be. It's going to be about, where's my stadium going? How much do I have to put into this? How much do I have to put into that? They already know how much they have to spend on a team. That's why they're buying a team. They already know this. But it's about, the stadium, the deal with the city, how much am I paying in taxes? All of that stuff comes into effect. So in order to do this, in order for Jerry Reinsdorf to do this, he needs to get a deal done soon. And I don't know that I don't think he's selling this year. He's definitely not selling to this group that they're talking to, though. He's not selling to the Dave
It doesn't look like that.
It wouldn't make sense for anybody in baseball for him to sell it, other than what you were talking about in the Fitz gibberish, which I think you're spot on, is that this is just hey, if I don't get a stadium, I'm going to sell to this group that's going to move the team to Tennessee. Yeah. And to be honest with you, like Doubting Thomas says, most White Sox fans share this, as he's got King Kong Bundy as his profile picture this week. He says, agree, let them move. And a lot of Sox fans are to that point too. Like, I'm done with them. Just get them out of here.
Yeah,
because if Jerry Reinsdorf is going to be the owner anyway, we're not doing anything anyway.
It's that bad that it's that far off, in that a lot of Sox fans are just like, move anyway. I mean, how many fan bases say that? The A's fan base wasn't even saying that. And you can make an argument that the A's fans base got screwed over even worse.
Yeah, they did.
I mean, what is your thoughts? Do you think that this White Sox team, is not on the South Side anymore at some point?
No, I think that they stay on this. Yeah, I think they stay on the South Side. I just think that you get somebody in that knows, whether it's you throw names out there like a Jeff Bezos, right? Like you bring in a guy like Jeff Bezos who can spend money, who can build up around, who can do something for the area around the stadium and build that up and bring some more revenue in. I know it's not the greatest area in the world, but it's not terrible. It's not as bad as like in an area where the United Center is at, or if you went a little bit further, down.
I think that's why they want to go to the South Loop, though. They have all that corporate money that can now come in. They're closer to the city. They have the city in the background, which everybody likes.
Even in the South Loop, I mean, the South Loop is only 5 minutes away from where they're at now. It's not like they're moving like completely out of the South. They're closer to the North Side than anything because they're right downtown.
Yeah, I mean, the
downtown split is like 30-second drive. Where it splits to go, where you could either go down Lakeshore Drive or you can go straight into downtown by, that's where I take Ida B. Wells every damn day to get to Lower Wacker to go to the radio station. Like the downtown is right there.
It is. I mean, they could even where the stadium is right now. They could stay there. There's nothing wrong with that stadium, and it's actually a nice stadium.
It's a beautiful stadium.
They should have probably positioned it where the city was in the background. I don't know why they didn't do that.
Well,
but
you know why they didn't do that, don't you? The architect fucked up. It was designed to face downtown. The architect fucked it up when they started building the stadium, and Jerry Reinsdorf didn't want to pay to fix it after they realized the mistake. Jerry Reinsdorf didn't want to pay to fix it, so they didn't fix it. Yeah. It was designed to face downtown. The where the scoreboard's at was supposed to face the Sears Tower.
And I cover sports with quite a detailed net. I cannot believe that got past my nets.
Yeah.
Not my New Jersey. But anyway, Jeremiah says there was about a minute where I started to care again, but much like the yearly excitement for the White Sox baseball, that feeling quickly withered.
Yeah.
You're back into undeniable stench of apathy, and that's Fitz gibberish for Jeremiah. But he's true. I mean, it's the turn from that Field of Dreams game to right now, which is just 3 years. I mean, just over 3 years away. We're talking July of 21. Is ridiculous. I've never seen it before for a team where they're the worst team ever, and they were the most exciting team in the league at that point, beating up on the Yankees. going to the playoffs that year, and it looked bright. Their core was all in their early 20s, except for Tim Anderson, who was the best hitter in the league at the time. It's pretty crazy how, I mean, I don't think you could have tried to do this. I don't think you could have been the woman for Major League Baseball, which I wish I had a clip of her.
Yeah,
and done this to a team. I mean, she couldn't even do it in Major League.
Yeah,
did I see Major League Baseball? Whatever, Major League the movie, where she tries to make the team worse so she could move it. Like Jerry Reinsdorf did a better job. I don't think he's trying. I think he's trying to say, I know better than everybody else, and look at me, I can do whatever I want. I kind of own the team. He only has 19%.
What Southsider would drive to the South Loop, really? Yeah, it's 5 seconds away.
Yeah, it's another couple miles.
Yeah,
like it's not and the South Loop is all built up now. The South Loop is a lot better than it was when they built the current Sox Park.
And not only that, but then you could actually take the Metro down there instead of the Red Line.
Well, you can take the Metro to Sox Park right now.
Oh, they do have a stop there now?
They do have a stop there now. They got a stop there like 10 years ago.
Oh.
And the net UCast, you didn't pick up that detail?
Nope.
I can't believe the architect did this. I have to look up this.
Yeah, so
this is ridiculous.
So it was they wanted it to face downtown, but the reason why the architect screwed, so the architect did it so that the sun would set behind home plate instead.
Because that's important. I do like the sun. I'm a real fan of the sun. I feel like we need it to survive.
Well, if you face it instead, it'd be just like Wrigley does.
I don't even mind global warming.
Wrigley sets down the
I'm into global
down the first base line. So Wrigley sets down the first base line. That's exactly what would happen for the White Sox. Like it's not like it would be. You don't want it to set. Obviously, you don't want it to set behind the outfield wall because you don't want that the sun to be setting right in the batter's eye. But down the first base line would be just fine.
Yeah, I mean, I don't get it, but I don't get a lot of decisions that been made there. I do know that there was buying entities that wanted to build up around there, but there is an historic site right there. But I don't think Jerry. I don't know exactly if those news reports are true, but I don't think he wanted to do that because I think he wanted everything to be his. But I'm not sure. He wanted his 100 acres of parking. I don't know. I was on the south side. There was nothing north of 95th Street.
That's because you were scared to go north of 95th Street. Don't lie.
Jeremiah's like a hobbit.
So how about them Bears?
He wants to go to the Bears. He's running the show now. I can't say anything anymore because we actually have sponsors.
So I mean, you can say whatever you want. One of our sponsors actually is a clothing line, is geared towards mental health. So it's kind of perfect for some of the things you talk about. It's actually just perfect for us talking about the White Sox, to be honest with
you. Yeah, because they make you insane.
Yeah, no, it is. So look, let's talk Bears. Last week I did the show we watched while they were in London. Bears kicked the crap out of Jacksonville. They did what they were supposed to do versus Carolina. They did what they were supposed to do versus Jacksonville. And they did what they were supposed to do versus the Rams. You have to beat the bad teams that are in front of you. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, you can't take what they did too seriously. The meat of their schedule is coming up. Well, that's great. But if the meat of their schedule was coming up and they were 2-4, we would be killing them. You know what I mean? So they did what they were supposed to do. And that's what makes you happy, because in the past, and we talked about this 3 weeks ago when we were at McNally's, I said, this is the prototypical Bears letdown. One of these next two games between Carolina and Jacksonville would be the prototypical Bears letdown. And if this is a new Bears franchise, then they'll win both of these games. And they've won both of these games, and it wasn't even close. The offense is starting to click really well. The offensive line is still really, really bad. I still would like to see a trade, whether it's for Zach Martin from Dallas or whatever the case is. I need to see a trade for some offensive line help at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people have been talking and rumors are swirling about Max Crosby.
Yeah.
Look, I would love to have Max Crosby lined up on the other side of Montez Sweat.
Rounder.
But I think offensive line is more of because I like what we have with what's his name, DeMarcus, the other defensive end. And then you got the kid that they just drafted coming up too, who I think
Austin Bowers,
in Booker, Austin Booker,
Bowers.
But I like with what they you were thinking Vegas, Brock Bowers.
Yeah.
See, I helped you out there. Quick on my feet. But you have to get offensive line help. You just do. And if you get an offense, can you imagine what this offense looks like with an offensive line in front of the quarterback? This team would be scary.
Yeah, it would be pretty darn good if they had one of the most important, probably the most important unit in football.
Yeah.
I feel like I've mentioned that before, but no, but I mean, just to see where we were before the Rams game and where we are now, we both picked them to lose against the Rams. No sponsor will be running part of the proceeds to try to fix Fitz. We're gonna have a lot of proceeds.
I don't know if they have that much money.
We're gonna need a lot of time too. We're gonna need some runway. We're gonna need some runway. We're gonna need a team. We're gonna need to put a team together.
What if we just get some Deshaun Watson masseuses?
We can have the production staff do it. What? Yes. There we go.
Is that what you need?
Yeah. There we go.
There you go.
But anyway, going back to the Bears, talk about a shift. We talked about a shift with the White Sox. Talk about a shift. I mean, we had them losing to the Rams. We were basically maybe not selling out the season, but we were saying at least the first third of the season was not going to be good.
Right.
It's been a shift. This is when good teams and good quarterbacks get rich.
Yeah.
I mean, a guy has 35 touchdowns and 4,000 yards. He's not getting that against, a Ravens defense.
Right.
He's not getting that off the best defenses in the league. He's getting it off these bad teams, these bad defenses, these bad teams who get penalties in bad spots, what the Bears have not been doing the following weeks. Why they can't start a season off like this, I think is bad coaching. But that remains to be seen. We'll see how the season plays out. But they also have a quarterback that is getting better every single game, which I've never seen.
Right.
I mean, we saw some growth in Justin Fields. It took 3 years. I mean, you could say some of that was coaching and some of the players he had around him. It definitely was that, but Caleb Williams looks like I say, like a grown ass man. Like when they did an interview with Mitchell Trubisky and then did an interview with Deshaun Watson or Patrick Mahomes. I just couldn't believe that they took Mitchell Trubisky, because Mitchell Trubisky still sounds like a 15-year-old kid. I'm sorry for the guy. I mean, I hear that he's a really smart kid. He just can't process correctly, and
he's not a good quarterback.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Like, doesn't know how to set up to throw. But I'm digressing too much. Maybe we do need those sponsors. But to actually see the development this quickly is something. That throw to Keenan over the middle, where Keenan had 4 different ways he could have taken his route.
Yeah.
Caleb Williams looks off and knows peripherally where Keenan Allen is going. Where Keenan Allen is going, and throws it to his back shoulder. A perfect pass.
Yeah.
He did something similar with DJ Moore a couple weeks before that, in the Rams game. It's really awesome to see. I think we actually have a quarterback.
Yeah, no, I agree. And it's when you're watching Caleb grow, it's not just the how fast he is learning how to process things, how fast he has learned to read defenses. He is audibling way more than we ever saw Justin Fields audible, way more than we saw Mitch Trubisky audible. He is actually understanding things. He is learning things. And even when the offensive line is still playing poorly, he is able to roll out and he is able to throw on the run. Some of these throws that he's making out, and he's still making mistakes.
Yeah,
from time to time. He's still making some bad. The throw to DJ was terrible.
Yeah, really bad.
If you throw that to the back of the end zone or the corner of the end zone, it's a touchdown easy. Yeah. But you tried to rifle it in there, and it gets picked off. And he knew that, and he even said it after the game. It was interesting to listen to his interview after the game, because they said, hey, you had a great game. How do you feel? Throwing for, 300 yards and 4 touchdowns. It's a big deal. The best rookie game ever overseas. And he's like, yeah, I still got to be better on balls like the one to DJ. And these are the things that he's thinking about after a big win, after he just tore it up. And I love that about him. I love the fact that he can go out there and throw for 300 yards and 4 touchdowns and still be upset about the one that he had picked.
Yeah,
and that to me,
and the way the details he goes into about plays is unreal.
Yeah,
I'm not just talking about the memory that he has of the play, but what's happening with different parts of the offense and the defense.
Right,
shows a deep knowledge of the game, and just to be able to process it that quickly. Like, I just think there's some people who can't do it. I just want to say one more thing: who can or can't do that. I just want to say one more thing about. They told Mitch to tune out the noise on the TV, and he literally went around Halas Hall turning on. Yeah, I remember when he did that, when he went around. And just talking about Mitch or Rex Grossman, not so much with Justin Fields, because I still think there was, slight improvement there. Mitch Trubisky, Rex Grossman, a lot of these quarterbacks who are never that good. I mean, you can even put Ryan Tannehill in there.
Yeah.
They have a good year in the beginning, or an okay year in the beginning, and then they throw more at the quarterback and he can't take it. And the defenses plan against him, and he's not the same quarterback as he was, or he's not as good as he was. There is no development through there to get better and better and better and better.
Yeah, and look, so I made the post right after that game about, hey, this is his passing yards, his touchdowns. In his last 4 games, this is what he's done. Ladies and gentlemen, the Bears have a quarterback. And our guy, Aaron Ludwig, hits me up on Messenger and says,
oh, here we go.
How can you say that? How can you say that
working overtime?
How can you say that Jordan Love is overrated but sit there and say that Caleb Williams is a franchise quarterback? And I said, well, I mean, I watched the games. I mean, because that's really all I can say is that, look, I understand Packers fans backing their guy, and I understand Packers fans not being able to fathom the fact that they don't have a top 10 quarterback, because it's just never been a thing. It's the same way how it's hard for a lot of Bears fans, which you can see it all over social media. A lot of Bears fans that actually back Caleb Williams and be like, yeah, we've got a quarterback. There's so many posts out there about Caleb Williams still, about, interceptions, and about how, once he starts playing tough defenses he's going. Yeah. And I'm like, guys, you realize that this kid is growing every single week. And I had 110% admit, hey, he hasn't played the really tough defenses yet. Although they did only lose by 1 score to one of the best teams in the AFC in Houston. Now that has to go on the defense.
Have a good defense.
And that's what the defense is going to do for you. The defense is going to keep you in these games against these other good defenses. They're going to be defensive battles. We're going to learn a lot next week against Washington, but Washington's another bad defense. And people are gonna, if Caleb goes out and just completely outperforms Jaden Daniels, people are gonna be like, oh well, the Bears defense is really good and Washington's defense is really bad, and blah blah blah. But how come you can't say the same thing about Jaden Daniels when Jaden Daniels faces a good defense? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's
weird.
one of those things, right? So when you look at quarterbacks, you can't really compare situations. You can't compare what Jaden is doing to what Caleb is doing, because they're both playing really well right now, for sure. Jaden Daniels is in a different situation with different weapons, with different coaching, with different play calling, with different everything, different opponents, different schedules. So you can't really compare their statistics, but you can watch the game and see the things that they're doing. The thing that I tell people all the time when it comes to watching quarterbacks in college, this is why sometimes people listen to this and they're like, oh, this guy always loves to pat himself on the back when he's right about things. But this is why I can read a quarterback in college and 90% of the time be correct about them when they're coming into the pro game, is because I don't watch the highlights. I watch the things that they do wrong. I watch the interceptions. How are these things? What is it bad footwork? Are they throwing off their back foot too much? Do they panic under pressure? Are the guys just wide open all the time? Like, it's a very different offense, which is why I thought that Trevor Lawrence wasn't going to be a good NFL quarterback, because he played for Clemson. He was in a spread offense. The guys were always wide open. He was never under pressure. They had an advanced offensive line, and they played in a weak ACC. And so I looked at the things that he does. I don't think that this game translates into a great NFL quarterback. He's going to be sustainable NFL quarterback, but he's not going to be great. And people were hailing him as the next Tom Brady. And I just didn't see it. And so that's what you have to look at when I look at Jordan Love, I see the same thing. I see him trying to be Brett Favre without the Brett Favre arm, throwing off the bat foot across his body, making bad decisions. And this is a guy who sat for 3 years. This is a guy who came in and then you get he's been hurt. Well, okay, he's been hurt, but he wasn't hurt last year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And it's a false equivalency. He's in his 5th year now. Mm-hmm. In the NFL, and yes, he did play games.
Yeah,
and he goes through preseason, and he's in his 5th season. He's a little bit more comfortable. Comparing him with Caleb Williams would be wrong, but really, Caleb Williams is starting to, because he has more tools. Tell me what Jordan Love does, and I hate to talk about the Packers right now when the Bears are actually playing good, and Megan TV says it was kind of cool to watch announcers praise the team. Let's enjoy it while it lasts. I do want to enjoy that, but tell me what Jordan Love does great. I just don't see it. That's why I call him a Kirk Cousins.
Yeah.
That's why I call him a Kirk Cousins, because Kirk Cousins doesn't do anything great. Tell me what he does great.
He's going to be just like Trevor Lawrence. He's going to beat bad defenses and struggle against the good ones. It's just what he's going to be throughout. He's going to be an 8-9 quarterback, 9-8 quarterback his entire career. That's what the Packers are going to be resigned to. And I'm fine with that.
I don't think he's got a great, completion percentage like a Brock Purdy would have. And I don't think he has the arm or the leg. Well, he doesn't have the arm or the legs that Caleb Williams has, or a lot of these quarterbacks have, or Jaden Daniels even has. Yeah, his ceiling is not high. Can he still win a championship? Possibly. I don't really see it, but I mean, I do still have to see more from Jordan Love. Again, I cannot rate a guy or give a guy $50 million on 8 good games. I cannot do that. And maybe you could say 9 good games. He did play well last week. I'm not going to be able to tell you a guy is a franchise quarterback and a great quarterback off of that. And I'm not going to say that about Caleb Williams right now. It does look like it is possible this is the guy. Just because you are seeing the growth with Jordan Love, he came in, it was his 4th year. This might be what he is. And if this is what he is, that's not good enough to win, consistently in the NFL. The reason why the Packers won consistently in the NFL, it's like you said, they had a top 5 quarterback every single year. Some of those teams around Aaron Rodgers, say what you want about him, were crap. When they won the Super Bowl, they couldn't run the ball.
Yeah,
I mean, go back to that Super Bowl they won. They could not run the ball. He was their running back, basically. Go back and look at those teams. They had a great defense, though, and they most of the time they do have a pretty good defense. But there are some bad teams that Aaron Rodgers brought to the playoffs at 10-6, at 11-5, and they were out in 1 week because they didn't have a complete team.
Yeah, and when you talk about, because like I said, they were talking about, a lot of people talk about the bad defenses and the things that, Caleb Williams hasn't faced. When you look at the Carolina Panther game, right? And I was just going through because I remember that they've played against Justin Herbert. Justin Herbert was 14 of 20 for 130 yards against the Carolina Panthers. They also played against Andy Dalton. They played against Andy Dalton in week 3, or I'm sorry, Joe Burrow, I should say. In week 3, Joe Burrow was 22 of 31 for 232 yards. How come they didn't put up those numbers versus Carolina? If it's just because you're facing a bad defense, just because he performs well, he might lay an egg versus Washington. but you could still see progress from him. You could still see the things that he's doing well. You could still see the things that are going great for him. So, and there's a reason why with the Packers, when you talk about, Jordan Love, there's a reason why when Malik Willis came in, they didn't miss a beat and they went 2-0 with Malik Willis because of great coaching, because of great play calling, because they are in a great system.
Yeah,
and that's where Jordan Love is at.
He's a system QB. He's nothing special.
Oh, see, there you go.
There's a big difference there.
Absolutely, 110%.
From a system QB who's good in a certain system.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. They can't win a championship. I just say it's not going to be consistent like it has been in the past. I don't see it. Could I be wrong? Shit, I've been wrong many times.
Yeah, and look,
the Cubs win in their division.
And it's not about. There's nothing wrong with saying Jordan Love is a top 20 quarterback. You know what I mean?
He's
a sustainable quarterback, but he's not a top paid quarterback in the league. He's not a top 3, top 4, top 5 quarterback in the league. So when I say that he's overrated, I mean that he's overrated because of how he is hailed. Jordan Love is hailed as he's going to come and he's going to take the Packers. He's going to be just like Aaron Rodgers was and Brett Favre was before him, and they're going to have another Hall of Fame quarterback. I just don't see it. I don't see him putting up the numbers to be a Hall of Fame quarterback. I don't see him. I don't think he's the starting quarterback at the end of his contract.
Oh boy,
I just don't.
Here we go, Aaron Ludwig. Lighten up your messages.
I've already told him that. Yeah, look, we're definitely ready for the wheel.
And as you get the wheel ready, Jeremiah says they've thrown the entire offense at Caleb. No baby steps. As great as Jayden Daniels has been, they've cut the field in half and made it easy. The league will catch up to that. Yeah, I see a lot of that with Jayden Daniels. I watched a lot of the game a lot of Washington's game last week and a few weeks ago. I watched, his first game that wasn't very good either. But
he does a lot of the damage with his legs too. I mean, I think he's going to be very successful in this league. I was wrong about him. Same way I was wrong about Caleb Williams. I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. I thought Caleb Williams wasn't going to be able to handle the pressure of being a Chicago.
We still got time.
He's all that and more.
We still got time. Like, who knows what could happen? But it looks like he's a good QB. I need to have more games stacked up where he does well. It looks like that's where it's going. That's where it's trending. I mean, it. I hate to give him credit. Doubting Thomas says, it when you see it, and sometimes you do. And Caleb Williams, you see it. And I did a lot of research, probably more than I should have, on Caleb Williams last year, and he was my 1A. I did have Jayden Daniels as 1B. So I win this year. You won the year before. You had Stroud the year before, and I thought Stroud was a poor man's Justin Fields. Boy, am I eating that one. I'll be eating crow on that one for years.
Yeah. I'll be eating the same thing with Jayden Daniels. Because I said Jayden Daniels was like maybe the 6th best quarterback in that class. And he's turning out right now. He's top 2, top 3, if not the top.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But let's get to it.
All our lives hang by a thread. Now we've got a man waiting for sentence. But ain't it the truth? You take your chances with the law. Justice is only a roll of the dice, a flip of the coin, a turn of the wheel.
This is the Wheel of Death.
And here we go.
All right, so Wheel of Death time. We do still have a few punishments. You know what? I did the freaking IQ test, and I forgot to send the results to you to have you read them.
Forrest Gump?
Yeah. No, I scored. So it was weird because they gave me they said you scored between 115 and 130.
I'm not a smart man.
They gave me a score of between 115 and 130.
That's pretty good.
I don't know what that means.
That's pretty good.
Okay.
That's pretty good.
Well,
as long as you're over,
I'll do it.
As long as you're over like 90, 95.
I don't want anybody.
You're able to do accomplish.
I'm
just
able to
about
tie
anything.
my shoes.
Well, they thought well, I'm not going to get into this right now.
Yeah. So I'll redo one. I'll do it again. Why don't we do it this way? Why don't you send me one?
Yeah.
I'll do it, and then that way nobody can be like, "Oh yeah, right, sure you did."
Mr. Blutarski. 0.0.
I even showed Michelle the results, so
Okay.
it wasn't like I just did it, but
Michelle.
It was one of those things. I was just like, "Oh, I'll do this while I have time," but I'll do another one, just so that
Doubting Thomas has closer to 115.
I mean, to be honest with you, I didn't think I was going to score that high.
Oh, that's pretty good.
I mean,
pretty good.
But I still, again, I don't know what it means. But at any rate,
as long as you're over 90, like I said, you can accomplish anything. Okay. They usually thought that success was connected to IQ. It really isn't.
Okay. So if you're under 90, then what?
Then you're not a smart man.
Okay. Well,
but I do know what love is.
Well, let's get to our picks before kickoff here.
Oh, kickoff's gonna happen.
We have
let's be quick. The lightning round.
Seahawks and Falcons. Falcons are a 3-point home favorite.
Since you're pushing me into Kirk Cousins, because I think the Falcons are getting better as they go here. I'm going to go with the Falcons.
I'm going with I was already writing it down. I'm going Falcons -3-2. How about let's go. I'll go first. Bills, Titans. 9.5 points is a lot of points, but the Titans are terrible. and the Bills are only getting stronger. Just traded in for Amari Cooper. I don't like giving up this many points, but in this situation, I'm okay with it. Bills are at home as well, so I'm going to take the Bills. I'm going to give up the 9.5.
Is Levis playing?
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's
the Bills.
If it's not Levis, then they've got Smush Face.
I don't know. I'll just take Smush Face.
Yeah, they've got the
Dobbs.
I can't remember his name. The quarterback from Pittsburgh who got his face caved in with a helmet when he got hit.
Oh, okay.
I forget his
name.
It'll
come to me. Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph. There you go. That would be their backup, so not much better. But yeah, Bills -9.5. We're both on that. Bengals, Browns. Browns are a 5.5 point. I'm sorry, Bengals are a 5.5 point road favorite.
That Browns team might be the worst team in the league. They might be worse than the Patriots. I'm taking the Bengals.
Yeah, and they just lost Amari Cooper. I'm taking the Bengals as well, -5.5. Texans and Packers in Lambeau Field. Packers are a 3-point favorite against the 5-1 Texans.
I'm gonna go Texans. Why not?
Yeah, I'm on the Texans. We're on the same page with this one as well. I like
their
the Texans.
Defense is good, man. They're rolling now.
Their offense is really good. I know they're missing Nico Collins, but they just got back Joe Mixon, so it's going to be a good game. The Packers struggle stopping the run as well, so I think Mixon has a really good game.
That's one I'm definitely watching.
Here's going to be one that if you have it on your TV, I'm going to question your sanity. Dolphins and Colts. You've got Snoop Huntley versus the return of Anthony Richardson, who has not been very good at all this year.
The ball.
He
can throw it long.
I heard somebody say
throw it up in the air, but so can Tyson Bagent.
He couldn't hit the Jolly Green Giant on a slant route. When I heard that comparison, Brad Evans was the one who came up with that. I was dying laughing.
Remember David Boston used to be a tight end for the Chargers. He was gigantic.
Colts are a 3-point home favorite. Who are you taking?
Boy, I'll take the Fins just for coaching.
All right, I'm gonna ride with the Colts. I'm gonna give up the points.
Sounded like you were gonna take the Fins, but now I took the.
No, I went with it because I think even if Anthony Richardson struggles, then I think Joe Flacco will come in quick. And if Anthony Richardson doesn't struggle, then they're going to beat the Dolphins anyway. I'm gonna go. We got Vikings and Lions. It's a big game for the Bears here. Either one of these teams loses, you gain ground on them. 4-1 Lions are a 1.5 point favorite on the road or I'm sorry, the Vikings are a 1.5 point favorite at home over the Lions, who did lose Aiden Hutchinson to a gruesome leg.
Yeah, no, that's too bad. Great player.
Yeah.
I'm going to take the Vikings. I think they
Vikings
go 6-0.
6-0. I can't see it, man. I think that the Lions will rally around the Aiden Hutchinson injury. I think they will find a way. I like Jared Goff in this offense. I think they could have a big day.
That.
So I think it's going to be a shootout. And whenever there's a shootout, I take the points. So I'm going to take the Lions plus 1.5.
Thanks.
No problem. Eagles, Giants. Eagles are a 3-point road favorite. I'll go first. I think that I'm going to take the Eagles. I'm going to give up the points. I think Saquon Barkley goes for 200 yards in this game.
Daniel Jones, like almost ever.
Malik Neighbors comes back today.
And he's got to get thrown the ball by somebody.
That's fair.
I want their fucking center, but
he's the number one. He was, before he got hurt with the concussion, he was the number 1 wide receiver in fantasy.
I mean, he's a great player.
Yeah.
Some people had a Dunze over him, but not me.
He's been really good. Then we got Raiders, Rams, the 3:00 slate. Rams are a 7-point home favorite over the Raiders, who just lost Devontae Adams.
Wow.
We're both on the Rams on this one. Right?
Yeah,
even with 7,
it's hard for me to take. Yeah, it's hard for me to take the Raiders.
Yeah, this is one of those plates where we're not going to have a whole lot of different.
Nope.
Different. Who's picking the punishment this week? We didn't do that either.
Cool.
Of Combs jumping into a pile of leaves. Happy fall, wearing his Speedo, of course. We can do the Speedo thing. There's some stuff that goes around that we have to figure out, right?
The size of your penis?
No. We'll talk about it after. We'll get the
look
Speedo.
like in your Speedo with a bottle of doobie down your gullet.
I'll put a sock down there. It's fine. But at any rate,
maybe a little shrinkage.
We'll figure that out. We'll get that done as well.
Like a frightened turtle.
We got to wax your chest too at some point.
Yeah, I need you to do the lawn first.
Yeah,
I'm gonna need. It's got to be a give and take here.
Well, I didn't even know which lawn I'm doing. That's the problem. That's
do
why
your lawn.
We'll talk about it afterwards.
Back lawn or whatever you got to do.
Yeah. All right. See, we're gonna go. What the heck? All of the games just shifted. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's because they started.
Oh, okay.
Jackass.
Well, we're in the 3:00 games anyway.
Okay.
All right. So we've got Panthers and Commanders. Commanders are a 10-point home favorite over the Panthers.
Tough.
10 points
Dalton's
is a lot of
playing
points,
still.
Man. Yeah.
I don't even know what the hell to do here. It's a tough one. I'm taking the Commanders.
It's hard for me to do this. I think the Panthers can keep it within 10.
Thank you.
I'm going to take the Panthers plus 10. I think Chuba Hubbard can score a couple touchdowns and keep this one.
Yeah, go ahead, Chuba.
Within 10. I hope. I'll take the Panthers.
Names. That's not even a player.
Chiefs and Niners. At San Francisco, Super Bowl rematch. Hope maybe a Niners revenge game. Niners are actually a 2.5-point home favorite over the 5-0 Chiefs. The 3-3 49ers.
The Niners have been up and down. Who do you got?
I can't. If I'm getting Patrick Mahomes and I'm getting points,
it's tough to go against.
I can't go against that. So I'm gonna go Chiefs. And if the Chiefs have not been very good, I know they're 5-0, but they just haven't been a very good 5-0. I mean, Patrick Mahomes is the 14th ranked fantasy quarterback. If he's in a 10, if you're in a 10-team league, he might be on the bench. Patrick Mahomes. That's how off their offense has been. But I still can't. I can't. That's coming off a bye too. I'm going Chiefs plus 2.5.
Yeah, it's hard not to take the Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chiefs until the wheels fall out. Which I think they are.
I took the Panthers, but you couldn't take the Niners. All right, fine. I see how you're rolling here. Steelers and Jets. This one is very interesting. I don't understand what they're doing in Pittsburgh. I don't understand the benching of our guy Justin Fields for Russell Wilson. The only thing I can think of that is going on in Pittsburgh's mind and Mike Tomlin's mind is either show Russell Wilson that they can play, or we need to see if Russell Wilson can play so we can trade Justin Fields high right now. that's the only thing that I can think of is happening here, because Justin Fields 10 touchdowns to 1 interception. He is the number 1 quarterback in touchdown to interception ratio in the league right now. And I don't get it.
I don't get it either.
For me, at a 4-2 team to make this switch, if this goes badly tonight, if Russell Wilson throws 2 or 3 interceptions and the Steelers get their asses kicked tonight, the
Davante Adams is with the Jets now. He's playing.
Yeah. And the Jets are a 2.5-point road favorite.
Are you talking me into the Jets?
I'll take
the Jets.
I'm taking the Jets too. I think that Aaron Rodgers has a big game. I mean, the firing of Saleh, he wants to go out and he wants to shell out.
He's got his boy Buddy Hackett.
Yeah.
He's got his Davante Adams. He's got everything. I can't believe they did that. Are they giving him ayahuasca?
Yeah, something.
IV drips.
Yeah. And then we've got a doubleheader on Monday night. Really late in the season for a doubleheader on Monday night. Really weird. They don't even spread it out good. 7:15 start locally and an 8 o'clock start locally. So 45-minute difference. Really weird. But Ravens Buccaneers. Ravens are a 3.5-point favorite in Tampa.
In Tampa.
I'm
going with the Bucs. I've been on the Bucs train.
Yeah.
I'm staying with.
I really like the Bucs offense. Baker Mayfield is the real deal.
I almost just called him Bakerfield.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Ravens here.
Here we go.
Ravens need to
You are a dickless traitor.
I'm going. Why? Because I'm going with the Ravens.
Yeah, because you were about to go with the Bucs.
I was
wish
not.
We could reverse stuff.
I just said I really do like the Bucs.
We're going to get rewind on this shit.
I do like the Bucs offense.
This is ridiculous. You're talking yourself into the Bucs. I say Bucs, Ravens.
Maybe I'm just trying to.
We're going to be together on a lot of these picks.
We are. We've only got 3 or 4 different ones.
The next one you're picking first. I already know who I'm taking. We're both taking the same team.
Chargers and Cardinals. Chargers are a 1.5-point favorite in Arizona. I'm going to take Kyler Murray in the get right game.
You're such a jerk because you saw me type Chargers both right here.
No, I didn't. I'm going to take the Cardinals, and I'm going to take the points at home. Give me one
with that
1.5. It is a 1.5-point spread. So, yeah.
You hate the Chargers. What did Jim Harbaugh do to you? Other than he couldn't throw the ball. When he was a quarterback with the Bears.
I don't hate the Chargers. I actually think that the Chargers could win this game, but I think plus 1.5. I think the Chargers win this one 21-20.
You heard it here first. Combs has the Chargers winning the Super Bowl.
No.
I don't know if anybody else has that.
No.
Big Justin Herbert fan.
Definitely.
And you're taking the Cardinals.
Bengals already up on the Browns 7-0. They're not even a minute into the game.
Joe Burrow, you had him. He couldn't. He can't even grab a water bottle. Joe Burrow's back.
How do you know it was Joe Burrow?
And pick for a touchdown by the Minnesota Vikings. God, am I glad I took him and you took. I don't know if that was a pick for a touchdown. Whatever the hell it was. Combs took the Lions though. Good times.
I'm not seeing. Oh, it wasn't anything. It was a kick return. They returned the opening kickoff for a touchdown.
Well, Joe Burrow could have returned the kick for a touchdown.
That's what I was like. I looked up the stats to see what happened.
Maybe they got him.
And it was kicks. There's no.
Doubting Thomas had Justin Fields returning kicks.
That's true. Maybe.
Guy's 4-2 as a quarterback. Justin,
it was actually Charlie Jones, 100-yard touchdown return for a touchdown. That's what a touchdown return will result in. It's a touchdown.
Yeah,
but
usually they do.
Usually, I mean, that's just how it goes. You don't return a touchdown for a field goal.
That's Devin Hester.
Not how it happens. Field goal happens afterwards. But at any rate, are you ready to get out of here?
Yes.
All right, let's do it. Let's get out of here. Next week we'll find out whether or not we're going to be at McNally's here. Figure out what the plan is going to be. Announcement to do clothing sponsor. Stay tuned for that information. Until then,